We there. So, bro, we're in the room with family, basically. Are we family in here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These are people that have really been, in some way, shape, or form, experienced your journey, my journey, over the last 10 years, and are very intimate with your work, my work. So, this is a warm space, right?
Woo!
So what we're going to do a Q&A.
Excuse me.
The movie, this is a preview screening, so it's not out till Friday for the public mainly. There's a roaming mic. Rob, raise your hands. Rob is here. If you got a question, put up your hand, and Mel's gonna answer the questions. Yeah, come true.
Hold on,
Alright.
1 second. Well, first of all, thank you for being here. It's amazing to get that live. I was snuck in, but to get that live, fresh energy. But bro, it's a perfect opportunity for you to question and answer.
Oh, yeah, for real.
He knows me better than anyone. So
Yeah, but me, I'm out of applying pressure already.
yeah.
So yeah.
We've never done it, so this is an amazing opportunity. I think you should do a bit of Q.
Alright.
Just do a Q&A.
Yeah.
You guys have a chance to
Boy.
put questions.
Alright, cool. Now I'm on the spot. Alright, cool. Alright, what was for you? Obviously, so the film is loosely based, it's a fictional story, but based on our actual real life family. So every character in the movie is a real life person in our family. Who was the most difficult character to represent?
The most difficult character to probably represent. So the film basically is, I call it loosely based on the diary of my life. So it's inspired by things that may have happened, but also our family, our Boxing Day parties every year.
Silence!
Every year, big up. Every year our Boxing Day parties are these huge parties, and they become infamous over time, and people love to come to them. And there was one particular party in 2016. Everyone know that song, In Our Heart? In Our Heart?
Yes.
Right, so my whole family was gathered around my cousin Joshua, who's in the movie, and they were just doing In Our Heart and doing this thing, and I was like, yo, this shit could be a movie. Like, this, our family parties are movies. And I was like thinking, wow, I've never seen like a holiday movie for Black British people. I've never seen something about how we celebrate life at the end of the year. And you know, with due respect, we can, you know, party.
Amen.
So it's carnival, we do it in the winter too. You know what I mean?
So actually, there's a nuance about the film. The reason why, I don't know if you lot picked it up, the reason why it's called Boxing Day because my mum's side of the family is actually Jehovah's Witness, right? They're Jamaican and Jehovah's Witness. So they're religious, but they love to turn up. So that's why we never celebrated Christmas. Christmas wasn't really a big deal for my father or my mom anyway. But we always thought, at our house, we like to party. You know what I'm saying? And so, in order to get the family over, we would just throw Boxing Day parties instead of Christmas parties.
The same food is there for Christmas, they eat the same chicken.
So that's why.
But I would say, so the most difficult person to represent in the film would have probably been a version of you.
Me?
Yes, because literally, I know you didn't think it was you up until yesterday, because I was at the premiere and I was like, all right, Mikkel's down. And as you can see, the world changer jacket.
Yeah.
You know what time it is. So I had to really kind of reconfigure the whole thing. So our parents got divorced when I was 15, so I just aged that up so it could be the catalyst for Melbourne going off to America. I also wanted to like represent a younger time in Mikkel's life when he was a bit more of a naughty kid, like, you know, just being a bit that really charming naughty kid. So I took an element of that, and then because Josh, my cousin, was the catalyst for the film, when I watched that In Our Heart moment, I always called that character Josh. So I would say your character, and then after that, it'd probably be my Robbie G played. That was really challenging to find the right actor that was able to captivate an audience with his charm and his behavior, but in the swagger of my father, who is a character.
Does anyone remember that in here? Make some noise if you went out there.
Woo!
So how do you not think Robbie did?
Brilliant.
Actors that have been around forever, and he'd never really been given a chance to play a full character in a movie of this magnitude. And so he's always been like a distant friend of mine, and I really wanted to service all generations of actors, and I always wanted to service a multi-generational love story. So it was very important to me to do like the young love and the love of my character, but then really important to do that love of people that are in their 50s and 60s and relationships might have not worked out, and what is their life like? So I really wanted to do like a kaleidoscope of who we are and our life, in this country as British people.
Alright, so for you, what was the most fun you had in the movie? In fact, now let me ask, how difficult is it to play yourself? Because you was pretty much playing straight up you.
Yeah,
You been a funny?
Yeah, that was you.
I'm not bottled out of run.
No, you don't run. I ain't talking about like that. I'm talking about in terms of your nuances, in terms of the way you speak, in terms of the way you do.
That's real. I did do that.
Yeah. So, how is it that?
I think in essence, in some ways there's parts of me that are like Melvin, and it's definitely the closest I've ever played to my everyday. I got to choose the winter coats and keep the wardrobe. I was very happy about that. I don't know. I think it serviced me on my first venture into directing because I knew the type of me that I wanted to play. Do you get what I'm saying? I would say I'm probably, you tell me if you think so, because we said we take bets in pages. I'm probably Melvin at the beginning of the film, and then when it gets to like the bit when they're in the when he's running around and all of that, I don't think I'd do something that eccentric.
No,
That was like, that
romanticize the movie.
Yeah, it's like those. And Mikkel has these versions of me in his. I should have fallen over more in it because you find me to be nerdy.
Yeah, Mel's funny. he's sexy in script, but he's actually a nerd in real life. Yeah. So actually, I was gonna ask. What was the question I was gonna ask?
He's monitoring himself.
I know. I'm trying to keep it. Thing. But this was Amel's.
They want the tea.
They want the tea. So this was Amel's first. This is his directorial debut, family.
Woo! And boy, is it bad.
I want to give you this flowers because remember, say, for those of you in the movie industry, and I know I'm rating everyone in here, a lot of people in here know this industry, so we don't need to talk about that. But I know a lot of people who've made movies in it, and they got scripts that they keep behind the closed doors. But they sell scripts to these big companies. You see Warner Brothers logo, you see BFI, you see all of these big companies. They sell scripts that they believe will get them paid and will please those people quicker. Aml, first of all, because I know the story, Aml wrote this film and would put up the money himself to get it made. It was when he did that, and he can tell you the nuances in the story, but it was when he did that, he made the decision he's going to raise, what was it? $250,000
Go on,
himself
bad man.
to put this movie together and not wait on nobody.
Inspirational, mate.
And then he sat down with these lot as a boss and said, this is the movie I'm going to make.
Big. Now that's how we do things.
I don't know about you lot, but I felt really represented in that film.
Yes.
I saw my family. Literally, I saw my family, but I saw an experience of London that I was used to.
Yes.
I saw an experience of London that was more like what my general life is right now. That speak to the people that I'm connected to right now. And I just want to say I'm really proud of you for taking that leap because family, money's on the line. This is cute, yeah, but big money's on the line, yeah. So he stepped out in faith saying, no, these movies can get made, they can be successful, and they can back up any other movie that's out
Big
there.
man things. Yes.
Just give a little tidbit to that. So if you look down at the bottom, you've got DJ Films, you've got Film for Warner Brothers, Rocket Science, and BFI. But the second one is Studio 113. Now that's my production company.
Come on.
Can I zoom in and get it?
And basically, you know, I had a lot of ownership of the film because instinctively I said to myself, I've been waiting to make it. Did anyone see the short film I did called Drink, Drugs and KFC? Yeah. It's like this short film I did 10 years ago, and I paid for that. And I was a bit frustrated with my career's nice, I've got an American career, and so I found that I was frustrated with stories about us, about our everyday life, about, not to say that the genres that I've loved and been a part of the street genre doesn't reflect us, but we are, we're bountiful in who we are, and also the culture of who everybody is here, I believe, like young professionals, has exceeded, it's gone so far that I was like, it's really misrepresenting us and dangerous actually to not have a film that balances out our, you know, where we are in our life, the full scope of who we are. And if you look at the film as well, I take us from being in a really nice northwest London home, but we're still always at the, Josh goes to declare his love where? On the estate, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Still go there, we're still connected. We go into the auntie's shop, all of the different, and then we go into BBC and then we're at Soho. All of these places represent places I go to. I go to Kilburn to get my hair cut still by Uncle Barry. You know what I'm saying? I do all of that stuff, and I wanted to make sure that if this wasn't a film that was saying, now we're over here, we're like the wealthy, like, no, it's a collection, like we are Black British people, and we have dimensions to us, and we all exist together. So that was really important to me, and actually, for anyone that's out there that wants to make stuff, there's something very powerful in putting, I wasn't gonna raise the money, I was taking money out of my own pocket, literally, and put it on the table. I was gonna make a much smaller version. The budget would have been about 500 grand, so I could put 250, you know, from my own money, and then I was gonna raise the other 250 to go to partnership. It was then when all my agents and everybody got very excited and engaged. It's like, okay, it's only 250 grand to raise, you know, we should really push it. Then eventually I sat down with all these different people, and they saw the vision, and they saw how passionate I was about it, how specific I was. I'll say this as well, I'm a big fan of like Notting Hill and Love Actually, and those films. I really am a fan of it. This film cost less than 10% of what Love Actually costs. And we're competing, you know what I mean? We're in the world of actually creating something.
And it's just as beautiful.
Love Actually cost 40 million pounds to make, right? And actually ours cost 3 million. So we're giving it a much smaller.
Make some noise,
Big things, big things.
We're giving a smaller opportunity to really succeed. And that's why this film doesn't even feel about me anymore. Like yesterday, I kind of released it like, go for China, go to the world. And I genuinely feel like it's a film that's gonna last the test of time. But also really important for us if we want to continue creating dynamic stories, and it doesn't have to be joy and Christmas, that's just the thing I want to do. But it's very important that whether you loved the film, had critiques about the film, it's very important as artists, as Black people, as allies to normal human beings, like, or if you believe in the functioning or the representation of normal human beings, then you should go out and, as you have done today, thank you, support this movie and bum rush the gates, because where we spend our money tells these financier companies what we're interested in, you know? And so—
Oh no, wait, let me pause you. More than your tweets and more than your hashtags and protests, they don't do this, they don't do that. what he just said is where the business is at. So did you not catch that?
Yes.
It's your money. Yeah, it's your money. Oh, that's what they like. It's as simple as that, family. Yeah, I really want you lot to understand that as well. Sorry, bro.
That's alright. I just that's what I'm used to. It's like we're like twins almost. Either he's on a high, I'm on a high. We're hardly on a high at the same time. Oh, that's weird, isn't it? It's good, like. So I'm glad you had to take the floor. We should open it up to questions, maybe.
Yeah. Where's Rob? Hello, Rob. Anyone got any questions? Put your hands up. Up top, Rob. You gotta get your cardio one.
And guys, don't be shy, man. This is a great opportunity to ask any questions.
Greetings.
By the way, I can hear you if you want to do this.
I like, guys, use your acting voice. I know some of you love drama school. Come on.
You hear me?
Projection.
Okay. Greetings. Greetings. Congratulations on your film. It's amazing. I really enjoyed it. I just want to know, you see the food fight scene? Did that actually happen?
In real life?
Yeah.
I knew it. Mum would have cast.
Absolutely. You all knew the answer to that. That's my fantasy of like the film book and stuff like that. That's my thing. But great question.
I got a feeling they're all gonna be like that. Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, it's an amazing film, you know.
Thank you,
Amazing
brother.
The acting was very authentic. I'm a big critique. I'm the first to critique myself. I thought you done amazing. I thought the whole cast done an amazing job first and foremost.
Thank you very much, man.
How did it feel? What was the kind of emotional kind of back and forth in terms of representing your family on screen? Was it like, oh, you're not supposed to say that, you know, make sure you don't mention that, like, what was the kind of process, emotional process in creating this film?
Good question.
Brilliant question. Very good question.
For me, I didn't tell them what I was doing. So, I always mention I'm doing boxing. It would be like our family. I didn't really tell them. And actually, at the premiere last night, and so they first discovered things at the premiere, and they loved it, man. Like, you know, I brought all the best bits. So, you know, the Uncle Billy, he was sitting there with Mikkel, and they were going back and forth, and it was just like, he was just like, you know, oh, he was a Rollies baby. That's how he is, right? You have Uncle Kirk. I took phrases from their life, you know, you're a scholar and a gentleman, or what is it?
This one called Full Style.
Like different stuff I would take, and it was more of a homage to them. The only character that got rather deep was the mother and the father, and because that was kind of reframed in a way, and it's so long ago that it doesn't have a stinging effect in the way that it could. But I thought, watching it yesterday, I leaned over and looked at my dad, and you know, he's a naughty boy, and he was smiling at the wrong bits, but at the same time, he kind of liked the characterization of it, but at the same time, I felt that different things were, you know, hitting his heart. And actually, a lot of it was for me as well, like, you know, conversations that my young child self didn't necessarily have with my father about certain things, because I'm of the era where you just don't talk, you know what I mean?
It's called shadow work.
Got clicked to that. So the film was cathartic for me in many ways, and yeah, I feel like the themes are universal enough that a lot of us, you know, a lot of men can understand those conversations. But pretty much everything else was a little bit, it was just a bit fictionalized. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, bro.
There's loads of questions.
Yo, this Rob, Rob.
Rob, you sure you want to run? Make it just talk.
No, wait. There's No big head. Wait 1 second. Yeah, you can. Nah, use your active voice. Someone's before you though. That's fine. 1 second.
I think we all probably felt really represented for Black British culture and the winter culture. There's not much I think that represents the joy that we have and the Black British culture out there. So congratulations. My question is, obviously, director, writer, actor, how producer, all of
No
the
leave
above.
out nothing.
How difficult was it to like separate those different sections of resolve and to dedicate to each section throughout the process of making the film?
Yeah, great question. Well, listen, I had a good team of people, you know, so my writing partner would be Bruce Pinnell. He would be there with me to reference anything that I might be missing in terms of the words, do you still want that in or not? But I found the directing portion of it like ducks water. I literally been waiting to do this for a long time. I don't consider myself an actor that's directing. I consider myself an artist that's just expressing myself in this avenue that I've been studying and learning and been a part of since I was a kid. So it felt right for me to do it, you know? Yes, you want a question? Go ahead. Let's sat together, sorry guys, that's the reason. Okay.
The question I was going to ask is, obviously this is a beautiful character, I love it. Is there any other narrative?
Yes. Yeah.
You said, is there any other narrative, just like everyone else, any other narrative that you want to express?
Yeah. My company, Studio 113, myself and Bruce, I keep referencing Bruce. Give him a round, he's from America. Give him a London round of applause. Bruce right now. So we have a plethora of different stuff we're doing, that we're engaged in, that we're getting on with. And yeah, step by step, we already have a show that's commissioned to be made that my sister wrote. If you talk about the specifics, my next film that I want to do, which is probably about 1.5 years, 2 years out, is like this big musical set around the world. It's a musical set in different eras and different times in history. And my big thing is about the whole diaspora being in it. You know what I mean? That's what's really key to me. You know, even though this is my initial culture at home is, you know, Caribbean culture. We grew up very, very Pan-African in our home. I didn't even know that particularly Vincentian, Jamaicans especially. Very Vincentian because my dad's that way, but it's a very Pan-African household. And so that's part of my mission, is uniting everyone under one banner. So I want a movie where we have great talent and stars from around the world in one vehicle. Yeah.
Woo! Big
Just over there.
Please do.
How did you get the obviously you had to love amazing.
Yeah.
It's great. But yeah, how
Asian I'm a King.
that's amazing.
Yeah. The script.
The lady, so the woman.
Asian Naomi King played Lisa in the movie, so the question was, how did I get Lisa to be in the film? I got her to be in the film because the
Lisa
script was
Divine.
so engaging to her, particularly.
Lisa
And she
Phillips is
wanted-
amazing.
Like, so I'll give you a story. The better answer to that is a story she gave me after she watched it. So obviously, you know, Asia's a very successful actor with comparable in experience, but she, you know, when you're putting your hands in the first-time director, you know, it can be a bit like that. And she had a lot of faith, and we partnered up very quickly. And I actually never said action on my set. I said it once for a big sweeping scene, but outside of that, I never said action because I always wanted it to feel as though we're on a level when we're performing and when we're working. But when Asia saw the trailer, when she watched the movie, and she called me and she gave me one of the craziest 10-minute dissertations on why the movie's so important to her. You know, and not to get too much into politics and colorism, but for her, she was like, I feel so represented as a dark-skinned black woman, and that's just not been my reality in the work that I've done. I just never thought that I would be the center of this piece, of this narrative. And she said, you know, this film is literally made all her younger self dreams come true.
Big time.
So I think that spoke to her, you know, especially to be the lead. And I was always looking for someone that would light up a screen, and she does it beautifully, as you saw.
Basically, questions. Which Rob?
This side.
Oh, Rob, you gotta work it. You gotta run back.
Come on, man, come on.
Huh? Wait, 1 second. Alright, we're gonna do one here, and then we're gonna go up top. Me. I'm gonna pick. 1 sec. Go. Come true, sis.
Enough people got questions.
Go start dashing the mic. Don't worry, family.
Yeah, I know, like we used to be in school.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. One, congratulations on the film, it's amazing. We had a great time, we were singing along to everything at the front. One, I guess, how long did it take for this film to be developed, to get everybody on board, were there any errors? And number two, there was a really beautiful scene when you came into the house and the family were all like putting the food at the table, and they started to break down like the journey and the plight of black people entering into the UK. How important was that to have that scene represented, not just for Jamaicans or Winchesters, but also Nigerians, also this, also that? Because to me, it was just very important, and it was a wonderful thing to see everyone's story represented. So how important was it for you?
That's everything to me. Thank you for your question. I don't believe in the fragmented idea of like Caribbean, African, like we all got to love our culture, we grew up with, and it's fun. But as much as I can and could, I wanted to represent everyone. So if you look at the conversation with the uncles around the table, everyone won in the argument, you know what I mean? And you know, when the uncle goes, where are you from? Is it not Nigeria? I love that line, you know what I mean? Sorry, Caribbean people, you know what I mean? Feel it, you know? It's just one of those ones where I really loved the idea of real conversations happening within the framework of this holiday rom-com, you know? And it also reflective of our family. Again, our Uncle Clint is my dad's best friend, is a Nigerian, and he's been in our life forever. And so it was very important for me to represent those dimensions. In terms of how long it took to make, really fast, to be honest, and slow at the same time. It's slow because there's a bunch of other films that never got made, right? That we went for. But fast in the sense of, I wrote it after I finished Yardi in 2018. So it's like October 2018. I met the new producer who told me just to write the version that I wanted instead of the 500 man version. That was in April 2019. And November 2020 we will shoot. So, you know, yeah, I think this film in many ways is, you know, meant to be, you know. Yeah.
Definitely.
It's definitely got there.
Yeah, he's up there.
Thank you very much. Firstly, I want to say I love the film. Up until about 5 o'clock, I didn't know this film existed. Before the ticket came out, so I was blessed.
Well, thank you for that, man. Thank you.
That's all right. Firstly, I like how you promoted local people like ZZ Mills, your brothers, brand, etc. So I really, really appreciate that. For me, I love the cinema. I've got like 2 memberships of 2 different cinemas, so I'm quite a proper critic. But that's what I think anyway. This film felt like a big film. It felt like a glossy, which I haven't seen before in British film, and I mean from us. You know, sometimes we do things that are niche and are our reality. We don't get out of that. And I'm no offense to films like The Intent, but I'm a youth worker, so I look here, I watch it, and I see the truth in it, but I know it's not necessarily something you can promote to people outside of our community and outside of our experiences. So I really like that. And sometimes it can be really black heavy as a result of our experience and our perception, but another person that comes from a different lifestyle might not be able to kind of vibe with it. My question is this: in terms of that gloss, what inspired it? Is it your Hollywood experience and understanding the kind of systems that are in operation there, or was it prompted or influenced by the finances once they went both?
Good question.
The financiers had no heavy hand in this movie. What they did beautifully is they completely supported my vision, you know. And where we disagreed, where I thought Yeah, they just don't need to understand. You invite to the party sometimes, and then there are other things, very few things actually, where they were like, well, you know, speed up that bit, you know, maybe cut that down. But this is my film. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
My film.
See it there.
So I'm happy about that. I'm thankful to them for that because they're going to make the process very different. Your question was, repeat it quickly, please. The question that
The gloss. What was the gloss influence?
The gloss influence was how I see the world. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, for me, it was based on how I see the world. We're international kids, so when we grew up, luckily for us, our father took us many places around the world. By the time we're like in our teens, so we kind of really traveled, and that has really always informed the way I see the world. Plus the old cinema that I grew up on.
So just specifically, like for example, the food fight scene. I know everyone in here was like, oh.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was like, did someone say it would be nice to get a little, you know, Home Alone kind of scene there where
He did. Because here's something. Home Alone is what got him into acting. You get it? So those films, he's really just making up for lost time. You know what I'm saying? I'm grown up. I paid my dues. I got the money. I'm gonna make a film I wanted to make when I was 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is. So yeah, definitely. But that scene, he did say earlier. That scene was a nod. Do you not remember Hook?
Yeah.
You don't remember that scene? That magical scene when things shifted. That was a big film. Yes, next question, bro. Who's got it?
Quick things. Respect. Just want to say thank you very much for the journey. But what was your highlight of making the process, personally or professionally? What was your highlight of it? And was there a tipping point for it to, you know, okay, we're clear now. Was there a tipping point in the process of it?
Well, you're making a film all the way up until Monday, Tuesday morning of next week. You know? So right now, it's Rob, do you know what, man? Just you're good. We're gonna start putting it to you, it's gonna be easier. Right? Wicked. So, you're making a film up until it gets released to the world. So this is actually a part of making the film. We're having a conversation as artists and as humans, and we're connecting on things to try and, you know, dissect the whys and the whens. And then actually a part of the journey of making the film, for this type of film specifically, is how much the audience engages, which has been amazing, and how much audience turn up. So in terms of the tipping point, that's going to come over the next couple of weeks. But whatever happens, I'm very proud of it. I'm really happy that it connects to so many people. Wicked.
Right.
Let's.
Wait, there's
Yeah.
one guy here, the promise, and then I'm gonna go to the back.
Okay. So let's tell me then 1, 2, the lady there with the polka dots.
There's a lot of questions.
Very
I
good.
don't think my phone can take them all.
Yo, bro, first of all, man, she's so proud of the story. Like, I'm so shocked, even within myself, that I've never seen or experienced a British film like this. You know what I mean? You should really look at yourself as like a pioneer for this, man. 'cause I'm
Big
pretty
time.
proud of this stuff, bro. This does well and it inspires so many people to make films just like this. You're right, there's more to just road stuff, man. And I feel like so many people do not see it, but around the world to see it. So like, thank you so much for that. I'm also an actor and a writer. And I plan on directing and producing my own films. So I just wanted to ask what was your process for creating your production company and how can I do the same thing?
Well, very thank you for your sincerity, and it's funny, and people know this and should know this, nothing really shifts that much from success. Like hearing truth come from the heart still hits me and encourages me, so I want to really thank you for that, right? Process of production company. I mean, there's all the business end of it, which you can get to, and you know, you might have people finance a development slate with you. You might get a first look deal at certain places. umbrellas. But I think the most important thing is to find your tribe of people that you believe in and you guys can build and create together. And that's what I've done. You know, I found my tribe of fellow people that we've grinded at making this stuff happen when no one's watching. And I think that's the beginning of it all, man. If you found your tribe and you know, you guys are gonna build a war together, you're gonna maybe fall out sometimes, get back together. But find that tribe of people, and that's where, and keep them, you know, on the journey to success and make them, you know, if you're in a certain position, you can make them believe in the possibilities. That's an amazing thing, you know what I mean? But I would say, find your tribe, that's it. Simple as that.
Thank you so much.
Can I add something to that? Can I add something to that, just to make the story a bit more realer? Guys, I want you, after this, go home in your spare time, go to YouTube and watch Drink, Drugs, and KFC. Aml, what is it, 11, 12 years ago now, put up his own money at that time, right, to make this film with all the people. He used my cousin for the edit, he used people he knew, he put together his own team, the same fashion, he created it, they edited it, he put it out, people watched it, alright, he wanted to get it financed, he wanted to do this 11 years ago. You see what I'm saying? It didn't work out the way he had planned. He got back on his grind, had to go out there and do the same thing, still with the same dream. Even that movie 10 years ago, he wrote 10 years before that.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So I know he said, oh, the process is pretty easy, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm his brother.
Man put in
On
work.
the other side of the line, I know exactly the process that he went through. Real teeth wrenching, gut wrenching, all heart, not giving up. Not taking no for an answer, getting back on your feet, spending that money, you know what I'm say, sacrificing everything to get this stuff done. So this ain't no, so you go on YouTube to see the difference. I know it's an 11-year journey.
Upgrade.
Just that story alone was an 11-year journey. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Big
so
journey.
The proof is there. And if you want inspiration, my brother, if you want inspiration, no matter where you're at, you can always make your story happen. You can pull out your phone and make your story.
Amen.
You get what I'm saying? You ain't got to wait for this. You ain't got to wait for them logos. He didn't wait for them logos. This is just where he's at. Does that make sense? So, understand that. Bun these people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Knock on your own door.
Amen.
Make your shit and make it good. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh shoot. You got a powerful question. Come on. Alright, someone went up there with 2 hands. Armpits and everything. Shout out, bucket hat.
Was there like ever a point where once you realised you got there and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, I give up, it's not going to happen. And then what, if there was that point, what made you keep on going?
Very lovely question. Yeah, for me, there isn't a point where I think I'm going to give up. You might have to pivot to something else. But, you know, my personal dream is not necessarily about the one product. You know, it's about the general mission. So I feel like if you have a mission that's tied to something that's not just tangible, it will propel you forward. So Boxing Day is an extension of my great mission when it comes to filmmaking, when it comes to wanting to reach people. I deliberately made a commercial film because I wanted the film to be interactive with the audience, you know, and I wanted the audience to feel as though we own something that's ours that we could be happy and proud of. And so that was a part of my mission, and as I feel like the second audience I've kind of engaged with, and the real audience that have seen it, I'm getting it now, you know, I'm getting that kind of energy. So I don't, giving up things not, my mind doesn't do it. I just pivot if I have to. You know?
One more, sister, you've had your hand up for a long time.
Thank you. It's not that powerful.
One mic, you don't need mic.
Yeah. And I haven't been to acting school either. So listen, I want to big you up because, as this gentleman said here as well, I've never seen anything like this on the big screen, and it's just, I really enjoyed myself, laughed out loud many times. What I want to ask about is the songs, because I was singing along, and it represented me so much. I loved it, and just, I don't know if what the question really is, but like maybe how difficult or easy was it? Because it seemed like did you even choose the music? Was you know, and it seemed like your taste in music is quite wide. And how easy or difficult was it? I didn't hear you. Say that again.
My taste in music is
dope. Yes, it is. It's dope. And how easy or difficult was it to choose and pinpoint like what's the dancing song and what was the love song and all that stuff? That's what I want to ask about.
Thank you. It's actually a good question. So just to reiterate, just clearly, just to reiterate, this is my film. Every single decision, final decision made, is a collaboration between artists, but it's my film. The clothes that everyone is wearing, that's my decision specifically. That I collaborate with an amazing costume designer. But I'm like, no, I want something. So when I got to London, for example, to start shooting, I saw this poster of these two probably European, good-looking European people. I was like, oh, I want us to walk down with like long coats and that thing, walking through the airport together, right, and just look sick and fly and be that couple. We're like, boy, who are they?
Yeah.
You know, like all of those things, the colour palette, the fact that he kind of has Georgia on his back when he enters London with that black coat, there's a woman on the back. All of those little nuances are there for people to pick up or not. The score, so music aside, the score, I wanted a score that sounded classic and forever, you know, and actually and part of my process in choosing some of the music. So we start the film with Chet Baker, I fall in love so easily, because you rarely see those classic, or Nancy Wilson, when I'm walking through the town, you really see those classic songs with black images.
Yeah.
With instrumentation. It's really important for me to do that, because what it indicates to the audience already is this is going to be a classic. Because they have a relationship with the music already. And then I've got like really, really dope DJs in my house, in the spirit of my mum and my sisters. They just know everything. My sister, Aretha and Alicia, they know like music that they shit. It's mad. So I just steam a lot from them. Oh, really? Yeah, actually, since one of my favorite songs that's in the movie, I snuck in it because it was really important to get one of Mikel's songs in the movie.
Yes.
There's a big song there, and I'm going to use it in the musical. It's masculine music. There's a big song. It's one of my favorite songs by Mikel. It's called I See God in You.
Big cheer up.
Mashed me up like when I listened to it. Meditation by the shores. Yogi sipping herbs of course.
Yeah, good.
I've never felt when I told me. This guy's not, hey, listen, the musical, forget it. When you do that, it's be mad. And then Mikel's going to work on that. But that song there, so when Asia and me are in the bedroom, we hear softly playing, I see God in you, and I wanted that to be playing as these two beautiful black people are in relationship. I see God in you. That's a song by Mikel. So it was a great question, because the music, we have such a deep relationship with music as human beings in general, that a lot of your job is done if you play it right. You don't necessarily have to get clocks in there.
Can I say one of my favorite parts of the movie? Because I watched the movie for the first time yesterday, one of my favorite musical parts was when it was at the Nativity and the white man started to
Yes, yes.
That sweetened me.
That sweet me too.
Everyone's reaction. That was nice.
Yeah, it was
favorite
nice.
musical cue.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So, brother in the yellow hat, are we looking? So let's connect. Just talk.